Good morning. Happy New Year. Let's rise up now. Let's just stand and charge this environment and just affirm with me, today is my day. I'm going to do more. I'm going to have more. I'm going to be more. Come on, let's say it again. Today is my day. Whose day is it? I'm going to do more. I'm going to have more. I'm going to be more. High five three people and say, you go for it. Go ahead, high five three of them. Just tell them, you go for it. Give yourselves a big hand. While you're standing, stay up. While you're standing, look at someone and tell them, Happy New Year. Happy New You. Tell them, Happy New You. Now say to them, I'm so glad to be in this year with you. Go ahead and tell them, I'm so. Now look at them again and say, well, who would you rather be with? Go ahead and just, who would you rather? You may be seated. Give yourselves a great big hand. I am so delighted to be back here with you again at your wonderful spiritual community. And let's give some love to the musicians again, the practitioners who are serving here today, all those making it a sweet service. And to my dear friend and brother, Reverend Edward, let's give him some love as he gallivants and globetrots around the world. Struggling along in Bali, I'm sure. Must be tough being in Bali at this time. He and Chris Michaels are very dear friends of mine. I call them the spiritual rat pack, and I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to be the Sammy Davis of the spiritual rat pack when I grow up. So delighted to be with you. I bring you greetings and love from our spiritual community down in the valley at Unity of Sacramento, where we welcome you. We leave the porch light on for you, so anytime you are in that part of the world, we'll treat you really good and welcome you to our spiritual home. We would love to have you when you're there, all right? Since you treat me so well here, we have to return the favor, return the kindness. I'm excited about this topic that has been chosen for the theme this month, the power of intention. Can we say that together? Come on, the power of intention. And I thought I would take a slant on this topic, the power of intention, by choosing for my topic, your dash to greatness. I mean, if you're going to have an intention, you want to intend on something worthwhile, yeah? I mean, nobody wakes up and intends on having a half-baked life. Anybody? I mean, if you're going to waste your intention, I remember I was traveling with James Trapp, who was the former president and CEO of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and we were in his car driving, and we came upon a parking lot. And I said, watch me set my intention. I'm going to get us a parking space down front. And got the parking space down front. I said, what do you think about that? He says, son, I'm using my intention for much bigger things these days. Working on world peace and some other stuff. But good job with the parking space down front. So we can choose to use our intention for a lot of things, but if we're going to work with intention, let's set it on doing something great. And it's beautiful that it's January as we reflect on the life and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., someone whose intention has impacted the entire world. I followed him by attending his undergraduate alma mater, Morehouse College, and when I walked into the Dr. King Chapel for the first time as a freshman there, I had the interesting experience that every Morehouse man has when you first come for orientation. The lights were all dim. It was warm, glowing, kind of an ambiance there. And we heard this booming voice. And the booming voice said, Strive to do what you do so well, that no man living, no man dead, and no man yet unborn can do it any better. Yeah. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to goof off and skate my way through the classes there. It was in that moment that I recognized that there was a challenge for greatness. There's a challenge for greatness. Touch yourself and say, I was born for greatness. That you're not just hatched. That we're not just hatched, but we are both sent and meant to be here. Do you get that? And if you are sent and meant to be here, then each and every one of us has something extraordinary that we can do with our lives. And my intention today is to support you with moving from ordinary to extraordinary. Come on, from what? From ordinary to extraordinary. Our lives are a dash between two dates. Your earthly entrance date and your earthly exit date. And the question we must cross-examine ourselves with is, how will we dash between those two dates? You can choose to dash between those two dates intentionally. And when you're operating from intention, you're operating with an inner knowing that there is a date with destiny, and I'm moving toward it with every choice. I remember being at Morehouse, and because there was such an environment that compelled us to think great and to talk great and to walk great, I hadn't had all the great mentoring and stuff yet. So I had that fake it till you make it philosophy. Anybody know about that one? Oh, don't leave me up here by myself now. Some of you have been around a couple times. And so the best I knew to do at that time was to look like I knew where I was going. And so I would walk with purpose. I'm just walking like I know where I'm going. Knew what I was doing. Do you need any help, sir? Absolutely. You look like you know where you're going. I don't have a clue. But when you're operating with intention, there's an inner knowing that I'm going to get there, even though I don't absolutely know for sure. That you hang out in this field called the wisdom of uncertainty. Anybody ever been in that space? Do you recognize that there's a wisdom in the uncertainty? You don't know how you're going to land necessarily, but you have set your sail, and the great winds of the universe will conspire to be the force that gets you there. That's the beautiful thing about operating with an intention. And guess what? You can do that for free. You don't have to have any special education. You don't have to have a certain pedigree or pedagogy. You simply have to release an intention. Intention to be, intention to do, and intention to have. So you may want to cross-examine yourself with the question, what is it that I intend to be with my life? Who is it that I intend to be? What is it that I intend to have? What is it that I intend to do? And only you can make up your mind. We may be influenced by others. I, for a while, was under the influence of the wrong people in my life. Now, I've always been on the straight and narrow, don't get me wrong, but I've had some folks who wanted me to be like them. Know anybody like that? Try to shape you in their image likeness. And then I remembered I'm an original. Come on, say it to yourself, I'm an original. And with that originality, I can do some things that only I can do. I can create things only I can create. I can be that which only I can be. And so I set my intention. And so I invite you to live intentionally. Come on, together. Live. That's the second thing. The opposite of that is living aimlessly. Somebody said, been there. You know about those? Someone says, if you don't know where you're going, any road you take will get you there. You'll be right there in a hurry. So it's not living aimlessly that we want. It's living intentionally, and then you're pulled to your northern star. You're pulled there when you set your intention. The second thing is to serve passionately. Will you say that with me? Come on, serve passionately. Marion Wright Edelman said, service is the rent that we pay for being on this earth plane. It's the rent we pay. It's our just contribution to the world. It's our little push on the globe, our service. Every hand has a part to play, and you can choose to serve apathetically. Ever go to a customer service line? Seeking customer. You walk up to the thing, the counter, and you stand there indicating, I'm here. Therefore, because the sign says customer service, I was looking for some, and no one says anything. You clear your throat as to create a hint that a person is standing there. And the 18-year-old pimpled-faced wonder says, yeah, what? Apathetic, disconnected, disengaged, wasting the power that can shift universes. Service. When I serve passionately, what I am really doing is connecting to that part of me that is a burning desire to give. Your passion is that fire within you. And some of us have that. And some of us are in search of that. But it's that part of you that cannot be extinguished by outside circumstances. When you are passionate about something, you are giving yourself away meaningfully to the world. So passion, pass, I, on. Have you got it? Come on, let's say it. Pass, I, on. And the I in passion, as we discovered in the first service, is I'm passing my intention onward. And when I am not being passionate, when I'm not serving passionately, I am living in pain. You see the other word in passion? If you look at that word carefully, you'll see pain. And when I am not being passionate and I'm not fulfilled and I'm not coming from that place, then I'm a pain in the ashen to other people. Now, if you're sitting next to a pain in the ashen, just look straight ahead. Don't just look right at me. Don't look left, right ahead. If you blink, I know it's you. So you want to come from this place, and it does not require much on our parts to do this. It requires a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace. That's what Dr. King says. He says, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You only need a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace. And so you may want to cross-examine yourself with the question, where is it in the world that I wish to pour out my heart full of love? Where is it that I wish to commit my soul generated by grace? You know you're operating in your passion when you lose track of time at the thing that you're doing. I love my daughter, Camila. She's a passionate singer. She's 4 years old. Her bedtime is at 8:30. She gets to sleep around 10. And every night she sings herself to sleep because she loves to sing. Her sister has already fallen asleep at about 8:45. And Camila sits there. She's singing about everything. My pillow is soft, my blanket is chill, the bedroom is warm, and my sister asleep too. And she's making up a song, and she's going on and on and on. And then she just passes out at some point. What is it that, or who is it that you wish to pour your heart into? Dedicate the energy of your soul to. I recall a time when I had an intention to go to Cape Town, South Africa to participate in the Parliament of the World's Religions, where President Nelson Mandela would be the keynote speaker. And I did have that opportunity, but I thought that with one of my youth from our Teen Dream Camp that I would get to take him with me. I said, if this experience would transform my life, imagine what a 13-year-old would get from the experience. And so I did just that. I took him. But I told him, I will take care of your accommodations and your meals, but you're going to have to raise your airfare. And I told him that the airfare was $1,400. So figure out how you're going to do that. But you'll get to meet President Mandela. He got busy. He raised $1,400. When we got on the airplane, I told him, that's your spending money. Yeah. He got an opportunity to walk in this august assembly where thousands of people waited to see Africa's favorite son walk in the room and speak to a time in history that needed his voice. And President Mandela rocked the stadium. And afterward, I had an opportunity to hold hands with history and shake his hand. And my mentee had the opportunity to be in his presence, and his life was forever changed. A couple of weeks ago, I got an email, or an IM, one of them, saying to me that he is sitting for the bar. He has graduated from high school and college and graduate school, law school that is, and he soon will be Esquire Montez Cobb. Only need a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace. Where is it that you will serve passionately? You may not be able to do the things that a Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. did. That may not be your thing, but there's such a thing as everyday greatness. Everybody said, come on, everyday greatness. You see, that's where the extraordinary comes in. When you embrace an everyday greatness, where you chip away at your little corner of the world. You can do that. We all can do that. I remember taking my wife to well, she wasn't my wife at the time. She was my fiance. She was candidating to be Mrs. Ross at the time. And one of the bits of curriculum. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. He said that out loud in front of everybody. But one of the bits of the curriculum was to visit the Martin Luther King Jr. Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. And we went in there and we saw all of this grandiose accomplishment of Dr. King, and she had never had this experience. And she came out and she just felt so overwhelmed. She said, I'll never be able to do anything remarkably close to what this man has done. I just feel awful. I've done nothing with my life. I said, well, honey, now, this is the King Museum. Dr. King can make almost anybody look as though they hadn't done much in their lifetime. she got busy from that point forward, and she made a commitment to turning her lemon into lemonade. She was once a victim of domestic violence, and she decided she was going to take up the cause of teaching women to love themselves fully. And she started her women's workshops, and she's been coaching and transforming young girls in our Teen Dream Camp. And she has moved from ordinary to extraordinary by having a clear intention, by serving passionately every day. Here's the last piece. Move courageously. Will you say that with me? Come on. Move courageously. When you have a clear intention, you have a right to move through life with courage. Why? Because your intention is connected to your purpose and your passion hooks you up to the God of your understanding. You'll stop showing your God your big problems. You'll start showing your big problems your God. When you move through life with courage, rather than moving through life fearful and afraid, and with those stinking voices that come up in your head every time you step out to do something worthwhile. Who knows about the voices? Ever been on out in public? I've been out in public and I've seen people just standing there, and suddenly you see them go. I'm going, what's going on with me? They're telling those voices in their head to shut up. But when you're operating with courage, you have a right. You're living with intention, you have a right, because you're connected to the God of your understanding, and your God of understanding has your back. When you're playing in a field worth playing for, God backs you up. That the universe begins to conspire to support the one who's operating courageously. So what is it gonna be for you? What are you gonna be courageous about? We're sitting in this beautiful space today because someone had the courage. Someone had the courage to say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And they did what the old science of mind statement is, treat, and then move their feet. That's why we're here today. What are you going to be courageous about? I love that story that we heard earlier. And I don't know what time it is, but I know at some point I've got to sit down. So give me the countdown, okay? I just want to make sure. Beautiful story about Dr. King. He is out on one of his marches, and someone comes up to Dr. King, true story, and says, sir, are you Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? He says, yes. And the man proceeded to spit on him in the face. And Dr. King wasn't many of us. We might have had a different reaction than this nonviolent hero, but he reached in his pocket to get his handkerchief, and he wiped the spittle from his face, and he handed the handkerchief back to the man. He said, sir, I believe this belongs to you. When you have an intention, you have a vision for the world that you are committed to bringing forth. And you won't allow yourself to be intimidated and distracted by outside circumstances. You're willing to stand for your principles and live congruent with the life that you have chosen and the life that has chosen you, that you are singled out for such a time as this. And the world can become a place that works for everyone if we're willing to live intentionally, serve passionately, and move courageously. The hands of history are ticking away at moments of our lives, asking who's next, who's the one. All you need is a heart full of love and a soul generated by grace, and then the willingness to move. And a bridge of incident that you cannot and need not consciously devise will arrange itself on your behalf and tip the universal scales in your favor. And there you will stand in your intention made manifest. You won't even have to brag, because your results will speak for you. And so it is written, and so I have spoken it, and so you have heard it, and so it is. Amen. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.